There's also Sanjay Jha and Captain Alok Bansal. Um, Sushant Sareen, look, yes, one should not rely on Western endorsement or the endorsement of any country. But do you believe today that the opposition sort of dismissing this praise, etc., are at some level trying to sort of puncture the India story overall by really reducing, as Mr. Kulkarni has said, an issue of foreign policy to a domestic political level? Do you believe that's happening? If not, why should we believe that India's stature is growing? And what do you put this down to?
So, Rahul, just a slight retort to what Mr. Kulkarni said. India doesn't belong to the West and India does not belong to the global South. India belongs to India. And the only interests that India should protect are India's interests. And everything else, as far as I am concerned, is virtue signaling. We've been the defenders of lost causes around the world, which Mr. Kulkarni holds very, very dear. And they haven't really served us very well. But yes, that was diplomacy of that era. And there is a new diplomacy which is at play today. Why is India being feted? Incidentally, and I agree with Mr. Kulkarni, that yes, there have been prime ministers in the past who have been rock stars of their time. Indira Gandhi, for example, during the worst time in 1971, when the entire Western bloc, especially the US and the UK, were endorsing the genocide by the Pakistanis, it was Mrs. Gandhi who was going around and riling up and rousing up public opinion all over the world. And the opposition of that time lauded her for it, appreciated her for it, which is what should be done, right? You can have political differences and you should have political differences. We are not a monochromatic society. We have different ideologies, different kinds of players in the system. So yes, opposition, I don't have any problem with people opposing. I don't have even any problem with people having carping sounds. But you know, the petty and puerile level to which very often this debate is taken, I don't know. I don't think it really yields any political dividends, except to show them to be extremely churlish. But why is India being appreciated? I think part of the reason is, or a big part of the reason is that, you know, if you are the fifth largest economy in the world and going on to becoming the second, the fourth or the third in the next couple of years, purely from the, you know, the simply from the nominal rate of growth, which is going to be there. If you are a power in your own right, if you are pulling a lot of weight in the world, then the world will appreciate you. If, for example, you are becoming, we are not getting there yet, but we are on the right track, and you are becoming a prosperous society, you are becoming a big market, you are becoming an attractive investment destination, then yes, people will appreciate you and people will laud you. And, you know, you should take it in your stride. I agree. And I've said this yesterday again, Rahul, on your show, not your show, but on your channel, that I, for one, I'm extremely suspicious when, you know, a lot of encomiums are heaped on any Indian leader, because very often I get that Godfather kind of a scene in my mind that you are appreciating a guy and the moment he's alone, you know, you tie a rope around his neck and hang him. So I am extremely careful about people coming up with a lot of praise. But having said that, I think it is important to understand that a lot of this praise is well deserved, in the sense that how you have navigated through the COVID crisis. Again, you know, you can have a lot of carping sounds, but you were not only taking care of your own people, you were taking care of the rest of the world. Okay. In your opening statement, you played that, or you at least recounted the bit about what the Jamaican Prime Minister said. This at a time when the superpowers of the world were greedy, were actually hijacking shipments. Yeah. Here was India, still a third world country, even though we are the fifth largest economy, which was going out of its way to help neighbors, to help smaller countries around the world, to ensure that they are not left, you know, at the mercy of this vicious virus which was hitting everybody. So yes, Mr. Modi is being appreciated for that. Yes, he is being appreciated, I think, to some extent, for standing up to China's bullying. And yes, Mr. Kulkarni will feel very bad about it, but I think this government is on the right track by treating a terrorist nation like a terrorist nation. Now, Mr. Kulkarni might have brief for these terrorists. I don't. And I think the government of India is very well advised to not listen to what Mr. Kulkarni suggests to them, to go out for a nice walk on the beach with that entitled dynast of Pakistan, who spews venom against this country. I think the foreign minister does well. So I think in terms of how we've handled our foreign policy and on the Ukraine crisis, Rahul, very importantly, despite being pushed in a certain direction by the Western powers, we haven't gotten pushed. We've continued to guard our relationship with the Russians. Yes, we might have profited from it, but why should we not? Don't other countries profit from their relations in times of crisis? And yes, we have a very important relationship with the Russians, but we have an equally important relationship with the West. And we have managed to walk that knife's edge, I think, exceedingly well. Yes, there will be people in the Western media, especially the woke Western media, who will keep criticizing and keep, pointing out certain things, but they are drain inspectors. So I don't expect anything better from them.
Okay.
But